My name is Eddie, and I was in a cult.
All of you have chosen something different. You have the light to shape the world around you.
And I need that fire.
Talk about the idea, how it came to you in the first place here.
The show is about people in a new religious movement. Some of you might think it's a cult, but the people in it think it's a movement. I wanted to write about faith today and extreme faith, and that's sort of, that's the jumping off point for this show. In the first season, it was quite, it really felt, that maybe it was written by atheists, and this year I feel like maybe it's written by believers. So that's been an interesting turn for us, is that maybe there is something out there. Maybe there is, we made up a whole religion, the writers of the show, and this season maybe there are pieces of it that are real.
You've gone off on your own in this season, and he's gone a different path as it were here.
Yeah, I mean, in the pilot episode with my character, he joined the movement when he was in a low point in his life, and he then was introduced to his beautiful wife, who was born into the movement, and they've raised their 2 kids in the movement, and he sort of has this aha awakening moment in the first episode where he just doesn't buy into it whatsoever anymore, and so that's sort of his struggle through the first season.
I want you to take the walk. Steve's walk.
You can't live among us, call yourself a follower, and not believe. You can't have it both ways.
It's fucking December now.
No, you'll do the walk. And if you find, after 250 miles, that you are still faithless, keep walking.
Has this given you more of an awareness, you guys, of the self-help movement, of all of this? How much have you delved into that to play these roles, Michelle, in playing this particular character?
Well, I think what's been the most fascinating for me is all of the people that I've really delved into fringe movements and self-help, and it's really kind of almost a bit cathartic for some of them, I think, because people are very open and vulnerable about telling their stories and their experiences, and saying, I was involved with this group down in South America or upstate New York, or my sister did this, or, my mom, or I grew up in this movement. So that's been, I guess I didn't realize how prevalent that was, and so that's very interesting. I think, I think what's Jessica has done so well with the show as the writers, we're not sort of confined by any one idea. And so I think the show feels very traditional in a lot of ways in respect to faith and religion and movements, but also feels very contemporary in terms of the way that it deals with kind of the mythological aspects of faith and different cultures and things like that. And so I'm not surprised that, there's a lot of different people identifying with the show.
And Hugh, Cal and Sarah have done some pretty shady things as sort of self-proclaimed guardians of the light here. And your character in particular, Cal, is one of the most unpredictable ones I've seen in some time. You think you know where this guy's going, and then he does surprising things.
The stuff that Cal is wrestling with, and ultimately Sarah as well, and equally the journey that Eddie's going on. So, so yes, that is true. He is particularly volatile, I suppose. I think Aaron has told us that people, I think, stop him quite a lot and say, I really identify with your character because I was in some kind of a movement like this and I've got out and recognize. Nobody comes and says that to me.
This is a very highly divided political climate we're in now. Yeah. How does this show fit into that and all of these issues that you bring up there?
I mean, this was obviously season 2 was written before things got so divided. At least from my perspective, but it is interesting. We were just talking outside about that sort of blind listening to leaders. It'll be interesting if we move forward how we sort of can pull in what's happening in the world. Like, you know, a lot of cults, a lot of movements came out of like 60s countercultural revolutions. So it'll be interesting if stuff starts out of this time that we're in right now, that sort of dissent, people upset, people wanting to drop out, people wanting to find deeper meaning in life. So I'm very curious how, you know, the present political climate would find its way into this show.